Our Earth is drowning in plastic, yet the ones who profit from it aren't cleaning up their mess. I am talking about the multi-billion-dollar corporations that mass-produce plastic packaging but don't take responsibility for what happens to it after it is used once and tossed away. Yeah, we all know the story. We fill our lives with single-use plastics, all of which end up in landfills, incinerators, or worse, polluting the very environment that these big businesses depend on. And while individual actions matter, the responsibility to solve this crisis lies primarily with the corporations behind all that plastic. It's time to hold them accountable. This is our Digital Detox, a space where we talk about decluttering our digital lives so that we can focus better, feel more peaceful, and be more productive. Welcome to my channel. In today's episode, we'll be looking at the role that corporations play in producing plastic waste and why it is crucial that they are held accountable for the mess they created. Now, before we start, let me ask you a question. Do you think major brands are doing enough to address their plastic waste? Let me know in the comments below. Your feedback helps shape these videos and keeps them relevant for you. So thanks for being a part of this community. So first things first, just how much plastic waste are we talking about here? According to a recent report by the World Economic Forum, the world produces over 275 million metric tons of plastic waste each year, with plastic packaging making up a significant portion of that number. To put that into perspective, that's equivalent to nearly 50 aircraft carriers. And this figure is expected to rise to a staggering 350 million metric tons annually by 2030 if current trends continue. That's a whole fleet of aircraft carriers. Now let's shift our focus to the real culprits behind this plastic surge, the major brands that produce plastic packaging. These corporations create and distribute trillions of plastic items every year, from water bottles and soda cans to shampoo bottles and food containers. Many of these products are designed for single use, meaning they're discarded after serving their purpose. And guess what? Most of it ends up in landfills or gets incinerated. One reason why plastic waste is such a persistent problem is because it doesn't decompose naturally. Yeah, that's right. Unlike organic waste like food scraps, plastic remains in the environment for hundreds of years. And that means the plastic waste we generate today will still be around in the future. It doesn't just disappear, it accumulates. But it's not just the longevity of plastic that makes it a problem. It's also the way it's made. The production of plastic involves the use of fossil fuels, which are major contributors to greenhouse gas emissions. As a result, the plastic industry contributes significantly to climate change, further exacerbating the environmental crisis. Now, here's the thing. In a world where sustainability is no longer an option but a necessity, we need to rethink our relationship with plastic. We need to acknowledge that it's not just a convenient material, but one that comes with far-reaching consequences. And here's where the concept of corporate responsibility comes in. Do major brands face significant criticism for their role in plastic pollution? Absolutely. They've been called out for using excessive plastic in packaging, failing to invest in recycling infrastructure, and for producing single-use plastics that contribute to the global waste crisis. Let's take, for example, the fashion industry, which is notorious for its fast fashion trends and massive production of cheap clothing. Brands like Zara, H&M, and Uniqlo churn out new designs at breakneck speed, encouraging consumers to buy more and dispose of old clothes quickly. This leads to a massive amount of textile waste, much of which ends up in landfills. Then there's the beverage industry, which has been heavily criticized for its use of plastic bottles. Companies like Coca-Cola and PepsiCo have faced backlash for not investing in adequate recycling programs and for producing billions of plastic bottles that often end up polluting the environment. And let's not forget the food industry, which uses plastic packaging for almost everything from chips and candy to fruits and vegetables. Brands like Nestle and PepsiCo have been called out for contributing to plastic waste and for failing to provide sustainable alternatives. The problem is that these brands often fail to take responsibility for the environmental impact of their products. They produce and distribute plastic items without considering what happens to them when consumers are done with them. And this brings us to the idea of extended producer responsibility, or EPR. This concept holds manufacturers accountable for the entire life cycle of their products, from production to disposal. EPR encourages brands to design products that are easier to recycle or compost and to invest in the necessary infrastructure for proper waste management. However, despite the benefits of EPR, many countries lack effective policies to enforce it. As a result, Major brands often get away with producing excessive plastic waste without facing any significant consequences. But things are slowly changing. Consumers are becoming more aware of the impact of their purchasing decisions and are demanding that brands take responsibility for their plastic waste. In fact, a recent survey found that 61% of consumers are willing to pay more for products from brands that prioritize sustainability. That's a great starting point, but we need more. Governments and regulatory bodies are also stepping up and implementing policies to curb plastic waste. For example, countries like France, Kenya, Rwanda, and Bangladesh have banned single-use plastic. Additionally, initiatives like the Ellen MacArthur Foundation's New Plastics Economy are working to create a circular economy for plastics, which involves designing out waste and pollution, keeping plastics in use and using innovative business models to reduce the amount of virgin plastic produced. But again, these efforts are not enough. We need more action from both consumers and policymakers. As individuals, we can make conscious choices to reduce our plastic footprint. That means saying no to single-use plastics, supporting brands that prioritize sustainability, and advocating for policies that promote responsible plastic use. You see, we live in a world where convenience is often prioritized over sustainability. But it's time for a change. We need to demand that major brands invest in sustainable packaging, reduce their reliance on single-use plastics, and take responsibility for the waste they produce. Imagine a world where every brand operates with sustainability in mind, where plastic waste is minimized and where consumers are empowered to make conscious choices. It may seem like a distant vision, but it's a necessary one. It's easy to feel overwhelmed by the sheer scale of the plastic waste problem, but it's important to remember that every small step counts. Whether it's choosing to carry a reusable bag, supporting a brand that uses recycled packaging, or advocating for stricter plastic waste policies, every action contributes to a larger movement. And that movement is gaining momentum. Major brands are starting to take notice. Companies like Unilever, Nestle, and Walmart have set ambitious goals to reduce their plastic footprint and invest in sustainable packaging. Take, for example, Unilever, the consumer goods giant behind brands like Dove, Ben & Jerry's, and Axe. They've committed to having their use of virgin plastic by 2025 and to ensuring that 100% of their plastic packaging is reusable, recyclable, or compostable. Similarly, Nestle, the world's largest food and beverage company, has pledged to make 100% of its packaging recyclable or reusable by 2025. They are also investing in innovative solutions like paper straws and bamboo toothbrushes to replace plastic alternatives. And then there's Walmart, the retail giant that's committed to making great strides in sustainability. They've set a goal to be supplied in fully recyclable packaging by 2025 and to avoid 1 million tons of plastic by 2025. But again, more needs to be done. We need more brands to follow suit and for existing commitments to be more ambitious. As consumers, we have the power to drive this change. We can support brands that prioritize sustainability, call out irresponsible practices, and demand that companies do more to address plastic waste. This isn't just about changing the world. It's about protecting our planet for future generations. It is about ensuring that our kids and grandkids can enjoy a world that is not drowning in plastic. So let's hold major brands accountable for their plastic waste. Let's demand that they do more to invest in sustainable packaging, reduce their reliance on single-use plastics, and take responsibility for the waste they produce. Together, we can make a difference. We can ensure that our planet isn't lost to plastic forever. Thank you for watching and joining us in this important conversation. If you found this video helpful and want to support us in creating more content like this, consider liking this video, subscribing to our channel, and following us on social media. Your engagement helps us continue to grow and reach more audiences. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.